Good Sunday morning, Rick. How you doing?
Good and good morning, everybody. Welcome to our show.
The side dish, absolutely. By the way, we're on iTunes now. It's Side Dish with Mark and Rick. Just check us out on iTunes and Blueberry. Blueberry is the service that feeds into iTunes, but we're in the iTunes store. Side Dish with Mark and Rick. We're our own thing at last. Dig us, every week.
Standalone. And if you're watching us on YouTube, oh no, the other way around. If you're listening to us already, then find us on
Yeah,
YouTube
we're on
because you'll be able
YouTube.
to.
We're
I know,
everywhere.
but what I'm saying is if someone hears this podcast,
Oh, they'll
but they
go
didn't
like,
know we're
yeah.
on.
Oh, I want to see what they look like. They sound really hot.
Exactly. And
Hot, oh,
then
hot,
they see us and they go, oh, they're not hot.
hot middle-aged daddies. They got to
Yeah,
check
yeah,
us out.
yeah. Got
So
100 years between us.
just briefly, we got a big snowstorm coming here. It snowed. Frank and I came out to the house Friday night because it was snowed on Saturday, and we wanted to beat the snow. But there's like a blizzard kind of thing coming on late Monday, and I expect to be in the office alone on Tuesday if that happens. Because what happens when you live in Manhattan is it was the same way at Reuters. I could get to work. Even if I walked, I could get to work. But everybody who lives outside of Manhattan, even if it's in Brooklyn or Queens, they somehow can't get to work. So I'll probably be there by myself on Tuesday.
That's kind of a nice feeling to be in a big skyrise on Fifth Avenue and just know you're by yourself in the snowstorm. I like that.
Yeah, I can sneak
Yeah.
all my texting into you.
I know. We'll be texting. Oh yeah, coffee cup showtime. I've got the Dunkin' Donuts.
Kit Kat. They're not one of our sponsors, but I'd love it if they were.
Here's to you.
To
And
you too.
I got a pair of pecans in my hand too. Just so that's what a pecan
Oh, you
looks
got
like
your
from a
nuts in your
tree.
hand. I like that.
I do. I got both nuts in my hand. So speaking of nuts, lots of nuts in the news this week. Let's start with the death of the Saudi Arabian king. What was that all
Well,
about,
I've
Mark?
been I've been all in a dither because Saudi Arabia is. I'll keep it a really really short lesson for people. Saudi Arabia is the heart of Wahhabism, which is an extreme form of Islam. That's where Mecca is. And by the way, you cannot go to Mecca if you're a non-Muslim. You cannot set foot in Mecca. But Wahhabism is essentially what ISIS is. You know, the Islamic State is this extreme, brutal, horrible form of Islam. And Saudi Arabia is the heart of it and always has been. Most of the 9/11 hijackers were Saudis. But Saudi has oil, and everybody wants their oil and needs their oil. So we look the other way, and we talk about the Saudi king just died, which is where I'm going with this. And so Obama's flying over there, and all the world leaders are going over there to give their condolences and kiss the ring of the new king and all this stuff. And meanwhile, CNN just posted a video that was snuck out of a woman being beheaded in Saudi Arabia, because that's what happens. In case folks don't know and think Saudi Arabia is a beacon of anything, it's one of the most repressive regimes on the planet. There are no homosexuals in Saudi Arabia. Did you know that?
Yes.
Because anyone who admits to it gets their head cut off. Homosexuality is punishable by death. Adultery is punishable by stoning. Stealing, you have your right hand and foot cut off, and they decapitate people regularly. But at least ISIS has the audacity, which is why they're so terrifying to people, of showing you this. They do it in public. Saudi Arabia does this shit where you can't see it. And then the king comes over and has tea in the White House, and it infuriates me. It's hypocritical, and it's not just Obama. It's everybody who can't is rushing over there. And I probably have to put explicit on this episode. They're flying over there to suck the oil out of those motherfuckers' cocks because we have to have it for our automobiles, and it's disgusting. It disgusts me. So there you go.
I have, you can hit the bell because it leads into the next subject, and I don't have mine on me, but we use the bell to signify changes. But everything has a flow with our mind process, and I couldn't agree more, Mark. I have a friend that's a Saudi prince. He left the country. He still has his sisters living over there. He now lives here in the United States. I won't share his name with anybody, but spending time with him and the challenges, because he's gay and he lives with his lover over here, even his own coming out process in the States has been impacted by the way he was raised. And how painful it is for him. The four most important people in his life are his three sisters and his mother, and it's powerful. And so this morning, another dear friend of mine was born, had a baby. They're friends of yours as well. My friends Noni and Amar, welcome to the world, a little boy. and they're Pakistani, and they live over in London. I knew them here in the States. And when the little boy was born today, I thought, how fortunate, he's got the most amazing parents. And should he be gay, he's got their love. Now he's living in London, but had his situation been different, had they never left and had they lived in Pakistan, how their life might be impacted, and how this young boy born into this world could be living a very different life should he be gay and born in that country. I want to talk about Iran a little bit. Your story's interesting, but how we grow up gay in different cultures is, like you said, over there, what happens in Saudi Arabia, what happens in Pakistan, what happens in Iran are just atrocities. 95% of gay people will never come out when they live a life in Iran. Only 5% of the gay community will ever come out. It's awful. And money plays a factor. If you're born into a wealthy family, you get a little villa and you go out and have sex with your boyfriend on the weekends or your girlfriend on the weekends, and you avoid flogging and stoning and all those things because you can hide it. When you're poor and you're born into that country, what are your choices to go to this? It's called Student Park. And in Student Park, the HIV status is so amazing over there because a lot of people will make money by being, gay for pay, to make money because of the cultural issue. 9 times higher cases over the last decade of HIV and AIDS in that country. 9 times over 10 years. Not only that, they may find out you're gay, even if you're wealthy, and they'll start an intelligence file on you that they can pull out and use against you should you break any other kind of law. They'll use that as a second layer to go after you. So these people that think they're avoiding it, they know that cases are being built up to them on their intelligence files. So when they make a violation of another law, they'll say, oh, and by the way, he's, as you say, sucking cock and having his problem. The other problem I have over there is there's 2 words for gay, and it's part of their semantics. The one word is the word the gay community uses, that reflects themselves. And the other word is the word the government uses, which it bases its criminal charges on. And that word relatively means, by choice, sleeping with another person of your sex, or faggot is really what it translates to.
Yeah.
Lastly, I want to say the crimes punished. We talk about flogging and stoning like you just did. It really does happen. People don't realize it. And over there, if you're an active partner, if you're a top, you're punished less than if you're a bottom. And if you're a woman on woman sex, it's a whole different way to be punished than male on male sex. So I understand these are parts of culture. Everything's based on history and how we grow up. And I'm just saying I'm grateful, Mark, to be living here. That's all I got to say.
I am too. And 2 quick things. There's it happens to people over there, not just gay people. There's a woman who's pleading for her husband because he got 100 lashes and they're going to give him 100 more. And she said it's going to kill him. I mean, they basically flay you with a whip. So the other thing, which I just lost track of. I hate it when I lose track of my thought. Okay, anyways, it's horrible.
It is.
It's going to come back to me. You got your voice back. That's awesome. Sort of.
Oh, yeah, I keep thinking I have it back. I really don't quite, but it's pretty close to back, yes. What's up? What do you want to talk about next? About our country? What's going on here?
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Yeah, I got to go back here real quick. Just real quick. I posted something about Saudi Arabia a couple days ago on the LGBT senior Facebook page. And a couple people were like, well, we've got Bush and Cheney and you shouldn't throw stones. And I was like, I didn't engage them because I thought, you're out of your mind. Good luck. Go over and have a drink in the nearest gay bar in Riyadh and text me. I'll pay for it.
Exactly.
The idea that there's any comparison between the United States and Saudi Arabia, at least here you can do what we're doing and talk about this shit and not have somebody come cut your fucking head off.
That's exactly it.
Billy Crystal.
Good segue. Nice.
That's a nice welcome jump. Well, Billy has done so many good things in his life. Amazing man, amazing comedian, amazing humanitarian. And he recently fell victim to the Twitter swarm. We live in a culture of outrage. You can read about it on Salon and Huffington Post. I mean, we live in this culture now, and social media has really, really, really accelerated it, where people are outraged instantly. So Billy Crystal makes a comment in an interview about graphic gay sex on television, and he said, something about having it shoved down our throats. And he really was talking about graphic sex on TV. And I'm with him. I don't like graphic sex. I don't write graphic sex in my mysteries, even though I was told initially that that's what sells. When I start to read even a straight sex scene, I speed over it. I glance over it. I'm not interested in graphic sex. And even though on like How to Get Away with Murder, I'm like, oh, look at this. This is amazing hot sex on television, gay sex. But still, nonetheless, I'm not comfortable with it. An awful lot of people aren't, and Crystal wasn't. But he made the mistake of framing it as around gay sex scenes. And so, of course, the tweets go out. Homophobic tool. Now, what thinking person is going to accuse Crystal of being a homophobic tool? But he just got slaughtered. And then, and anybody who waited for context, he clarified it and said, I'm not comfortable with graphic sex on the screen. And I just felt, it upset me because we do this all the time. And now you and I have talked about this. You can't say this, you can't say that. And for God's sake, be careful about what you put out there because I call them the gay piranha. And
it is.
Or the gay piranha. And all they need is one little drop of what they think is bigot's blood, and they're on it. Yep. And fuck them.
Instead, they could realize that what I liked about his comments is that he used a gay example. I remember when we had that guy on that started the gay and lesbian journalist group, that one guy you met. And the fact is, when we're telling stories, we should relate them to the gay experience as well. We should weave those into the fabric of our stories. That we're telling a story about a family that's growing up both in the Jewish faith and the Christian faith, like another guest of ours, Rick John and his partner were. Weave a story about a gay couple into the story about the straight couple. It's just part of what it is. That's what I liked about what Billy did. Because guess what? Graphic sex isn't just straight. But do you think the straight piranha is going to come down on him if he had used a straight example? You bring up a very valid point.
I just, it bugged me. And that's the world we live in. Very, very sad to say.
As the world turns 50 years, not only did I turn 50 years old, but a lot of things are turning 50 this year in 2015. We got Robert Downey Jr., Chris Rock, Sarah Jessica Parker, to name a few. In the pop culture world, we got, well, not pop culture, but the music world. Guess what movie is celebrating 50 years this year, Mark? There's several.
Well, it's not.
One big
it's
one.
Not a Wizard of Oz. 50 years. This is tough. The Graduate.
I think that's a little older than 50. Could be. Think Julie Andrews.
Sound of Music.
There you go. Sound of Music, Caplo, Dr. Zhivago, Peach Blanket Bingo. Civil rights 50 years ago. The movie Selma is celebrating that. Also, this is the year 50th anniversary of Medicare, and lots of changes going on in that, in our country. Musically, celebration of the Beatles 50 years this year. Can you believe it?
Oh, my God.
Live concert at Shea Stadium, 55,000 fans.
And one thing that Saturday Night Live is turning 40, not 50, but they've got this big 40th TV thing going on, TV special, and I'm like, boy, does that make me feel old. That Saturday Night Live is 40.
We grew up, that does. Well, we also grew up our whole life with the Pillsbury Doughboy. He turns 50 this year. And Days of Our Lives, 50 years. Speaking of Rick Drawn, our friend that I referenced just moments ago, one of the writers on Days of Our Lives, 50 years it will hit on November 8th, 1965. So basically when I was a 6-month-old, I was probably listening to that as my mom watched it. Although I think she was more of a, As the World Turns person or something like that. But lots going on, 50 years, lots to celebrate over the next few months.
I shall end on being invited to the White House, so I hope nobody slips Obama or this video, because I got invited to the White House for a summit. It's the National LGBT Elder Housing Summit. Now, you and I know, and our listeners will now know, that there is a housing for queer seniors and elders is an issue, and it's starting to be addressed because it has to be. We need affordable housing. We need places to go where we can be accepted and not have to go back in the closet, where our spouses, if they're living, can be with us. And it's been really good ever since I started LGBT Senior 4 years ago to see how this has come into the consciousness and how a lot of these organizations, not just ART, but American Society on Aging, all these organizations are starting to address this and seriously, and it's really fabulous. But I got an invitation. I don't know how. I'm guessing, and I could be totally wrong, it's because I interviewed this trans congressional staffer a few months ago. I don't know. Somebody got my email, put it in the invitation list, and on Wednesday I opened my email and I go, holy shit. So I'm going to the White House February 10th, man.
And I wasn't sure it was real when you sent it to me. I'm like, there is no way. And then I poked on the links and how you have to register and all that. I'm like, man, Mark, and you're not just going for a dinner. You're going for, like you said,
It's
an
a
actual.
conference. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, I wish it was a dinner. Are you serious? This is
Well,
a
you will have
state
food
dinner
and
at the White
stuff
House in
because
my
it's like
honor? Oh my God.
no, not for you, but I mean, there will be dinner or something because it looks like it's from 9 in the morning till 5 in the morning. So
It's 9 a.m.
I
to
mean,
5:30, 9:30 to 5:30. So I gotta figure out because I'm not going the night before. I gotta take a train and blah 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 blah.
yeah, and then you got to bring a change of clothing because you got to change for every part of that day. Like go to the bathroom and just like put on a new cute little outfit and shit like that.
Yeah, some sequins.
But it's, Mark, I got to tell you why I'm so excited about this. For those of that haven't seen our website, there's a lot of people just following us on YouTube or just finding us on iTunes now. But we have a website called lgbtsr.com. It's actually, I say we because I was one of the first people, Mark. Actually, I was probably the first person you put
You were
put
my
on
collaborator.
I was, but yeah, I mean, it was your baby and still is. But even back then, we would tell stories. People would write you, as you recall, Mark, where do I find out about senior housing? How do I deal with going into a nursing room as a 70-year-old gay man or gay woman? These were things that weren't even discussed. How far we've come in such a short window of time, also thanks to the work you did with LGBTSR. On Facebook, you have over 4,500 followers, people asking and helping each other with this kind of questions. So whatever brought you to this invitation, you need to be at that table. You are a player at that table. And never, all of us guys in this new year, never belittle the things that you do that can make a difference in lives. Look at what happened to Mark. And you can ring the bell because here's my last subject and it ties in. It's the wonderful, incredible president that we have. And I'm just saying it because maybe they are going to Google search Mark McNease, White House Obama, and they'll see. But I truly mean this, Mr. President. Oh, God, now I'm nervous because what if he is listening? Anyway, I truly love this because I was flying home on the day of the State of the Union address, and I watched it on YouTube the next day. And within about 2 minutes of it, I was like, this is why I love this man. Not only does he speak well, not only does he show hope for this country, but he's showed his solutions and what he's been able to accomplish with a group of people. And he's presented this at the invite of the Republican leader, that's sitting behind him and applauding half of his things and not applauding the other half. He's presenting it to an audience that's, not going to be his friends, the stodgy freaking Republicans that won't even applaud, equal pay for women. But he's doing all this. And then 3 days later, you send me the email that he's having a conference about this. We forget that not only the LGBT, everything was about, his queer agenda, both on the positive and the negative side, those that don't want to hear it and those that are supportive of it. And how cool was he use the word transgender? Well, we forget there's so much more. In 2010, he appointed Amanda Simpson, the first transgender woman, to a key position on his staff. I mean, he's been doing this stuff for a very, very long time. But just in a nutshell, in those opening comments, Mark, when he talked about 15 years ago, we were living in a recession. We had 2 long and costly wars going on. We're living in very hard times in this country. And now the economy is growing. Jobs are being created more fast than they've ever been since 1999. Both wars have come to an end. Our grip of foreign oil, yes, although it's still there, like you referenced earlier in the show, we're weaning off of it. 30 years later, you can pay $1.75, for a thing of gas. Just all the things he's been able to accomplish. And then he says the shadow of crisis is past and the state of the union is strong. We have to remember times are way better than they were, on September 12th, 2001. I mean, I can't believe how far we've come as a people.
I agree with you, and I think that history will record him as having accomplished a great deal. I think history is going to treat him very, very well. And my Saudi Arabia thing, he's the head of state. He has to do what he has to do. It's not him. It's the American hypocrisy, and because everybody's outraged that ISIS cut off another head. Well, watch the CNN video and see what's going on in Saudi Arabia. That's where my fury comes from. But yeah, he's done amazing things. I think history's going to be really good to him, and we'll see what happens next.
Yes, and we want to thank everybody for listening in. If you want us to look at any topics or give us feedback and tell us how stupid we are, you can write us.
Oh, wait. Hold on the email, because I closed it. We were getting so many emails I couldn't take it.
Just put a comment. Just put a comment on your YouTube.
Or send it to editor. Send it to editor@lgbtsr.org. That's all.
Interesting.
That,
Easy enough. And check out LGBTSR, folks. It's really a good website. There's a lot of good contributors on there now. Mark, you've done a great job.
Rick, we'll see you next week on the. It's Side Dish with Mark and Rick on iTunes. YouTube, just look up Mark McNease, and you'll find us.
And some year it's going to be Side Dish with Rick and Mark.
Oh, you want me to change it?
No, God. Every other week.
Okay.
I'm just
Bye.
kidding. All right. Thanks, everybody. Mark, you have a wonderful day.
Ciao.